Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
That's the life. Oh boy, Valencia, another bit down the line. He's got it. That's a capper to a marvelous night at Comerica Park.
Hi. Good morning. It's Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn.
So much for the Yoel Pozo era.
Yeah, unfortunately no longer undefeated in the Yoel Pozo era, but still 500 in the Yoel Pozo era, which is better than they've been for the whole of the year. Bet you hadn't thought about that, had you?
No, I didn't think about it like that.
You're always being Mr. Negative.
I guess you're right.
Who has a better record, Yoel Pozo or the Orioles?
Mr. Pozo.
Just be over here sipping my tea then.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to do the show?
You
You don't want to talk about the baseball game last night.
No,
can't
not
imagine.
last night's game.
Got to tell you, of all the nights to have been out at the Muse show at Merriweather Post Pavilion, boy, did I pick a good one. Thank you to Muse. Thank you to Merriweather Post Pavilion. Thank you to the weather for holding up.
Did it? I guess it did over
But
there.
boy, did it ever. I mean, it was awful for a while.
Okay,
and
but
then
it cleared up after.
at 7 o'clock, it was immaculate. In fact, it was nice and cool. I actually brought a jacket. Couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been better. Baseball game could have been better. I mean, literally, anything about it could have been better. I maybe the worst baseball
What do you
game I've
mean?
ever seen in my life.
They got like 3 hits. That was.
They did. They did do that. They did do that. And Dean Kramer got into a fight with Pete Alonso, which apparently wasn't really a fight at all. He says afterwards he was just trying to make sure that there wasn't like a glare or reflection or something like that. So I guess we don't need to worry about. It was weird. It was very weird. And like you can see Pete Alonso, like look at Pete Alonso's face. Because you could say, okay, like yeah, wait. It's like that shaking the head.
He's not really shaking. He's shaking his head.
Yeah. Now look, it's totally plausible. It's exactly as mundane as was explained, but it doesn't.
When you're down, when you lose 14-0, yeah, you're gonna.
Mhm.
Although that did happen. What was that? 2 pitches in the game. So I don't know.
And Dean Kramer stinks, and that's the problem right now. Well, it's not the problem; it's one of the problems. There are so many problems, and one of them is that for as much as we say that hey, the rotation's been good, Dean Kramer is not part of that conversation, and Dean Kramer's the one guy that we know has innings in him. Like, you can question the innings situation on the other pitchers. Dean Kramer's got plenty of innings to give you.
Which I guess is why they started him the first game out of the All-Star break. And that was
couldn't have more
because we need
innings.
more Dean Kramer stars.
Couldn't have more innings to offer you at this point. And so, I don't know, man. What do you want to say about all of it? I mean, they got their asses kicked. It was nice to not. Here's the thing about when I go to concerts anymore, and yes, that's why my voice sounds like crap.
Oh, you were screaming.
This is not an allergy situation today. This is just I was singing along to
Here I was
Muse.
about to feel bad for you.
Why would you feel bad for me? I don't even want you to feel bad for me when I'm dealing with allergies.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
I don't need sympathy. People have
Well, because
cancer.
you
I
come
don't
on and
need sympathy.
you're like, good morning. Ugh.
Well, I do. I don't like how I sound for the 6 people or whoever that's listening. I would prefer to sound good. You know how frustrated I get? Like the Ravens' new PA announcer they introduced yesterday. And you're like, God, imagine if I had his voice. No disrespect.
You could probably.
I wouldn't have to sit here with Griffin for.
Oh, yeah. You could do both. I
No
think.
disrespect, though. I don't know if you heard me say. No disrespect.
I'm starting to feel.
No disrespect.
I'm glad you keep saying that.
I definitely qualified that there was no disrespect involved.
Because the fact that you do keep saying it.
No, it's important that you know there
Okay.
is no disrespect. I want to make sure
All right.
that you know.
Well, I want to make sure you know it's starting to feel the other way around.
Griffin, I've said no disrespect.
Okay. All right.
So no disrespect, but I wouldn't have to sit here with Griffin. No disrespect.
Say respectfully.
Yeah, I heard his. They introduced this guy like yesterday. I heard his voice. I'm like, damn. Imagine if I had that. But I don't even treat my voice like an instrument. I treat it like a whore. Like I'm just out there. I'm screaming at my kids, and I'm not screaming at my kids. I'm screaming at concerts.
You want to hear him?
Now arriving, the 2-time Pro Bowler, fastest player in Ravens history to reach 100 career receptions. Hailing from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, out of Boston College, wide receiver number 4, Say Flowers.
That's
Got a good voice.
Stevenson, who's the new
He's pretty good.
PA announcer. Yes, his voice naturally. Sometimes when I meet people, like when I was in Tanzania and we were on this tour with like 20 other people, and they find out what I do, they're like, "Oh, do you have like a broadcaster voice?" And I said, "No, I do not. I have this. Take it or leave it, brother. This is what I got to offer you." I also hate broadcaster voice. If it's natural, if that's what you sound like, then sound like that. Like Kyle always had a great voice.
Yeah.
Who was I? Tony Thornton, who does traffic on WBAL, just has a naturally beautiful voice. If that's your voice, then use it. But when you hear someone talk and then you hear them like call something like, and you're like, oh, who told you that was a good idea?
What are you talking about? I always sound like Bruce Buffer when I talk.
That's what people are always saying about you. That is what they're always saying about you. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about the Orioles. They will try to salvage the series today, and all they got to do is go beat Tarik Skubal. Go get him.
What's Tarik Skubal known for?
Go get him.
It's not like he's
For what it's worth,
he's left-handed or something.
There's
too.
also a chance the Tigers pull Tarik Skubal after a few innings. Like, there is the chance that you want to protect him. Like, it's not like teams need to see another full start of Tarik.
So is that how this is going to go?
Should we trade for this Skubal guy? I don't know. Maybe we need to see him go out there and throw one more time to really have a feel for what it is that we're getting. So I would think that they would be it would be smarter for them.
So is that how this is going to go? Is like Orioles are losing 1-0 through 5 innings, and then they pull Skubal after 5?
I think it's plausible.
And then the Orioles somehow find a way to
maybe
come back.
I mean, I think we're still being hopeful in this scenario, but I think it's plausible that it might be 4. I mean, it might. What?
Nami Matabike taking the practice field.
Well, I do like that. That is good news. The Ravens holding their first practice or training camp today, and Nami Matabike is out there. That's wonderful news. We do. I'm not even mad that you interrupted the conversation for that, because that is good news. Love to see that. Hopefully he looks like Nami Matabike. That's the other part of the equation, of course. It's not just that he's trying to play. It's that can he be Nami Matabike? Because if he can, game changer. We will find out. Yeah. The point that I'm trying to make is,
sorry,
it could be that they throw him for 3 innings and then pull him. I think the real question is, are the Tigers committed to we're trading Skubal no matter what? Or is there still some part of them that could be convinced between now and Monday, hell, let's just ride it out and try to see what we can do with him? And my gut tells me, based on the conversations that I've had with those around baseball, is that they are committed. Come hell or high water, they're trading Tarik Skubal. He's too valuable an asset, and their chances are too low of doing something significant that they got to move him, which sounds Kind of similar to some conversations that we've had around here. Now, doesn't it? We'll talk more about the trade deadline coming up in a bit. Gabe Lacques covers baseball for USA Today. He's going to join us. Oh, and I don't give Griffin props for a lot of things. Most of the time, I think he's, the Dean Kramer. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Jeez. Come on.
I'm kidding.
Got more 7-inning starts than Dean out there.
No disrespect.
Yeah.
No, this one I'm very excited about. He'll get a gold star in his helmet for this one. Wendell Pierce is joining us today, and you, of course, know Wendell Pierce as Bunk from The Wire. He plays Slim in They Fight, which is now available on Disney Plus and Hulu. We talked about it with Sheldon Candace, Baltimore's own Sheldon Candace, last week, and I love it. I think it's tremendous. You also know him from everything else. Wendell Pierce is just a true artist.
He was
man.
in Superman last year. He's in Thunderbolts.
It's amazing how many things. Suits, right?
Yeah.
How many things that you turn, you're like, oh, God, there's just Wendell Pierce being Wendell Pierce again. And he's just brilliant at all times. I'm trying to do my best to not make this uncomfortable and to not just fanboy out. I'm talking to Wendell Pierce today. And we've done a lot. I used to have Ryan do Wire anniversary weeks. And I don't think I've ever had Wendell Pierce on. I was trying to think about I got to know Michael Kay really well. I got to know Isaiah Whitlock really well. We talked, Isaiah and I talked a lot. Michael Kay and I talked fairly frequently. I've had Andre Royo on a few times. Trey Chaney have had on a bunch. Trying to think of who else. I never had Method Man on, and I always wanted to have Method Man. I don't think I've ever had, and I think we tried again for Jamie Hector when We Own This City came out, and I don't think we ever had him on. Obviously, Ed, of course, I've been friends with for forever. I was friends with Ed when he was filming. I don't know that I've ever had Dominic Lombardozzi. No, I've had Dominic Lombardozzi on. Yeah. But we never had McNulty.
When's the last time? Oh, yeah, we should have. Yeah.
We never had McNulty on. I don't think we've ever had McNulty on. I'm very excited about chatting with Wendell Pierce today. Very excited about it. Really looking forward to that. So that's coming up on the program. Now, yesterday, as we were doing the show, there was this a clip, but it started just as someone sharing the text, and then we had to find the clip. There was a clip from Jeff Passan's podcast, and I apologize. I should probably know the name of it because we're about to play the clip. Yes, dynamite stuff.
I think it's according to my sources or something.
I believe you. Jeff Passan doing his podcast this week.
Sources tell Jeff Passan.
Sources tell Jeff Passan. And they get to the Orioles and frankly talking about today's game. And he says something really interesting that when you read it, you almost didn't believe, you thought maybe someone had misquoted him. As it turns out, after you hear it, the context is actually even wilder than the way it was written. This is from Jeff Passan's podcast.
I don't know if Taylor Ward's going to get traded. The Orioles are such an interesting team right now because they could move Taylor Ward, who's an impending free agent and who's had such an interesting year because he hits 36 home runs last season, and suddenly the power disappears. But this guy who had an 8% walk rate is leading the American League in walks. So if you need a leadoff hitter, if you need an outfielder, especially if you need a right-handed hitter, Taylor Ward fits the bill quite a bit. But the Orioles look at themselves and wonder if they're a few moves away from contention. So while they are entertaining offers for Ward, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what they do this week. And we're going to have a decent sense probably by Friday or so what direction the Orioles are going in. They could move Ward, or they could move some more controllable guys. They've had conversations with other teams about Adley Rutschman. They've had conversations about Jackson Holliday. They've had conversations about Colton Cowser, this young core that the Orioles brought together that they thought was going to take them to the promised land, just has not performed to the level expected. And so I anticipate Mike Elias is going to be among the busier general managers this upcoming week.
Wow. That's all over the place. I have no idea what to make of that. None. Zero. Because the easy thing when I read the quote was to think that all that Jeff Passan was really saying was that someone had called. Like, hey, I talked to another team, and they were like, hey, we called and asked them about Jackson Holiday, right? Because then you could say factually, well, they've gotten calls about Jackson Holiday. Or they've had conversations, but it's easy to say no. To hear him say the sentence, they could move some more controllable guys, suggests that it's not just, hey, can we talk to you about Adley Rutschman? And them saying, nah, not really. That suggests that it's something that they're actually considering, which is wild. I mean, that really is wild. And then the end of that sentence to say that there's like a frustration about where they are as a franchise on the whole, which, I mean, yeah. They're at 2 calendar years of bad baseball. 2 full calendar years plus, because it started at the All-Star break in 2023. They're at 2 full calendar years of being bad. At times, awful. At times, okay. On the whole, bad. There should be like this is a tumultuous situation. There should be turmoil about where the Orioles are. Being 2.5 games out of a playoff spot should not hide how bad this has been for a franchise that appeared to be on the cusp of greatness. But does that mean you rip it up? And that's the difficult part about the conversations we've had, because inevitably, like the guy that does the parade account on Twitter, like yesterday saw someone, I don't remember whose quote it was, saw someone and something that we tweeted and retweeted it and said, oh, that's all we're ever going to do is perpetually rebuild. And my point has been, I'm not talking, I have no interest in another rebuild. I have interest in that phrase that I keep using that I hate myself for, roster maxing. I have interest in making appropriate trades to reflect the situation that you're in and how you go about resetting to create a better situation next year. And or now, I mean, if you can, I'm not opposed to a miracle turnaround, but I'm not making plans based around it either. When I discuss the idea of trading Trevor Rogers, it's I would rather sign him. If he's not willing to sign, which he says he's not willing to sign now, then I want to listen to offers. And if there's an offer on the table that's so significant that it helps you acquire pieces that you can either use now or in the offseason, if there is an offseason, in order to get your Trevor Rogers replacement, or maybe another, you sign Trevor Rogers at the end of the year and another one, or an outfield bat, that thing that we know desperately that this franchise needs, then I do that. But I'm not making plans around, but maybe there will be a miracle turnaround. Because there's nothing on paper that suggests that that's plausible. I think there's this belief that you're either winning or rebuilding, that there's only one or the other. And as I constantly say, while I don't fully want to become the Tampa Bay Rays are the example of the franchise that doesn't pick one or the other. I want to lock down more guys, spend a little bit more money. But if Trevor Rogers won't do it, then I want to use Trevor Rogers as an asset. And again, only if it's a real asset, only if it is a game-changing type of trade that you can make for 3 months or 2 months of Trevor Rogers. And perhaps that trade isn't to be made. I listened to Jeff Passan, and I come away from that yesterday at this time I said, my gut tells me they're not doing that. My gut tells me, and I still feel this way, that they're going to get to the point of
that they're not going to do much of anything.
They're going to make maybe an addition or two. They're going to fall back on what John Mioli always talks about, that they know there's some guys that they don't think they can get on their 40-man roster next year anyway, and so they'll see what they can acquire for those guys.
Gerardo Parra,
Sure. I talk about it constantly. That was unjustifiable. A lot of this is going to be unjustifiable, and it'll be really unique if there's no Rule 5 draft, and it turns out they didn't have to worry about whether or not these guys were on the 40-man roster. But,
yeah,
I mean, you can't make that decision now. As of right now, the timing, somebody asked me yesterday about, because we always talk about Trevor Rogers and the qualifying offer, and they're like, well, is that going to be in play this offseason? The qualifying offer is one of the things that, is going to be fought about. I presume they're not getting a new CBA done before mid-November. Mid-November is the qualifying offer deadline. The CBA expires December 1st. So my gut tells me that they're going to be able to make a qualifying offer before the work stoppage, if there's a work stoppage. But we have no idea how any of this is going to go, really. I say all that to say, my, make a prediction, go to Polymarket, put some money down, if we're still allowed to do that, I don't know. My prediction has always been they maybe move Taylor Ward if they can find another outfielder. They add
Heston Kjerstad, yeah.
He's hitting the ball.
Corey Williams also hitting.
He is. You're right. He is. They also they try to add an outfielder, maybe move Taylor Ward, and add 1 or 2 bullpen pieces. That's my gut, right? What do I think happens? And I'm not gonna completely move off of that based on what Jeff Passan said, but that's Jeff Passan talking. With respect, that's not. Yeah, I don't want to say any names here. That's not anybody on the lower end of, I just want to stir up conversation. That's the top baseball reporter at ESPN. He's behind, say, only Rosenthal when it comes to this conversation. And we know what Rosenthal's opinion is. He wasn't reporting when he said what he said yet the other day, but we know what his opinion is about what the Orioles should be doing. Passan is saying it's possible that's the route they're going here. The Holiday one is the most confusing of all of it because it only makes sense if A, Jackson Holiday and his camp or one out. They're frustrated. They think that the Orioles are responsible for why he's been stagnant, and they are quietly telling the Orioles, we're done here. Or the offer is just so ungodly for Jackson Holiday that you're like, hey man, we don't want to trade this guy, but Jesus. We don't know that he's going to be a guy, and look at everything that's on the table. Which seems crazy that would be an in-season trade that someone would offer for a guy who's, again, hit for the last 2 weeks, but has overall struggled. I could see in the offseason someone saying, I've heard the Orioles are frustrated with Holiday. We love him. Let's bowl him over and get him away from them. But the deadline for you to make that type of offer for a Jackson Holiday?
He is hitting.
Yes, but for a couple of weeks. That to me sounds crazy. The other side of it, again, you're just hypothesizing. There's no reason for us to think that Jackson Holiday Matt Holiday and Cal Ripken are very close. There's no reason for us to think that the Holiday camp has any desire to get out of Baltimore. But is it impossible? How does bringing up Adley Rutschman's name makes sense? We've talked about it ad nauseum, no matter how many people have been mad. It makes sense. You're a year away from a contract situation. Can you trade him? He's performed well this year. Can you trade him for a high value? If, again, it's like Trevor Rogers, he's told you, guys, love you, I'm going to free agency. And then you just try to get as much as you possibly can for Adley Rutschman. There's logic there. Jackson Holliday is still years away from that. There is no logic to the Orioles talking about a Jackson Holliday trade, short of something incredibly specific. I'm still skeptical, but it's wild for Jeff Passan to throw that out there. He's not making something up. He's not just throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks. It's wild that he brings that up. And in the context of perhaps a greater frustration that is being felt either by ownership. Like, is there pressure now finally coming from ownership? Like, dude, what the F is going on here? But why they would want to trade Jackson? Why would they? I can't figure this part out.
And I guess, I mean,
are the Orioles just convinced he stinks and like he's never going to get better, so they're trying to?
But then you're going to be selling low, right?
I mean, that's you would think.
Yeah.
I can't make that one make any sense at all.
Or that's the package. It's Holiday and Cowser. Somebody just has to have Colton Cowser.
Well, or you're trying to get,
or you're back to the Holiday thing.
Your target is the other way. Your target is a game-changing star. And that's what it requires you to get that game-changing star. Remember last year we talked about Jackson Holliday in a potential, or 2 years ago.
Yeah, but who's right? I mean,
in a Skubal deal.
Yeah,
like we talked about Jackson Holliday in that conversation.
When Jackson Holliday still could have been anything.
It was Magic Beans, right? Yeah, 100%. But I don't know who that guy would be right now. Is it Buxton? Like, is that how Jackson Holliday could make sense?
He just got hurt again last night.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, but that wouldn't have been the case when
that's true. Yeah,
when Passan recorded
talking.
this.
That's fair.
Like, could you make an argument that the Orioles' need is far more desperate in the outfield, and if it costs you Jackson Holliday to get Byron Buxton, you're willing to do that?
Mike Trout? I mean, I don't think he's getting traded. But
yeah, I know. Well, and the Twins said they're not trading Buxton
that's true.
Or even Joe Ryan. But I mean, Lord knows what everybody's playing poker right now, so I don't know what anything means. I could make the argument that if that's the uniqueness of the conversation, that like the Orioles called the Twins about Buxton because the Orioles have, I mean, it is, as we talked about yesterday, the outfield picture is bleak. And I don't think we're talking about it nearly enough. It's bleak now. It's bleak moving forward. It is bleak. So let's just say the Orioles called the Twins and said, hey, do you want to talk about Buxton? The Twins said, yeah, I'll talk about Buxton, but the price is Jackson Holliday.
Right. And it would be, I mean, like if the Twins, Minnesota has to be having the same conversation we're having, right? And it feels like they're in a far better.
Well, they're just not in the East,
right?
Yeah.
That's they're 500. They're a half game behind Cleveland for the final wild card, and then they're 2 games behind.
Correct. They're in a
Chicago,
much more
like
you could feel their situation. They don't have to get that dramatically better in order to be a year in year out contender. I'm speculating because I'm just trying to figure out how the Jackson Holliday of this makes sense. But my speculation would be, you call about Buxton, who's a legitimate superstar. Now they're paying him a boatload of money, right? Like, what was his contract? It was,
is it close to 30? Is that?
I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not getting value there. You're not getting control. I mean, you're getting control, but you're getting costly control. You're trading for a contract. But would it be worth it?
15 a year.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really?
Under control through 2028.
Does that go up at some point?
Doesn't look like it.
Really?
Like it would say.
Wow.
It is a base salary of 15.1 every
All
year.
right. Well, I'll talk more about Byron Buxton then. Now I'm going to start talking myself into this part of the conversation. How bad was the injury last night? What's the story there?
I don't know. Apparently, well, he had a hip thing that landed him on the IL right before the All-Star break, but he came back pretty quick, and they said that it was the hip again. So we'll see.
That's not ideal.
We'll see.
and he's had kind of a down year, right?
No, before the first hip injury, he was having an unbelievable year. He had 25 homers before the All-Star break. Like, yeah, he was.
All right,
insane.
well, I'll have that conversation. I can't tell you that I know that
he's been terrible since coming back. So
right. I got to think about it. I got to think more about it. But if that's the context of the conversation, then I am interested. If it's just selling Jackson Holliday, I don't know. But if it's going about roster maxing and saying, hey, like, we're waiting on Jackson Holliday, but we could also use Jackson Holliday to get a bona fide star at a position that's of significant need for us right now. Like, we think that maybe Vahiva Aloy might not be as far away as other people, like as you might think. And we don't, the guys that are close in the outfield are just not guys that we can count on. So I don't know. If that's the context, I'd listen. Again, I'm just making this up. I'm creating something. I'm not reporting something. I'm creating something. I should not be. I'm the guy that I was just saying, don't listen to. Because I'm just spitballing, but I'm trying to make sense of Jackson Holliday's name being brought up by Jeff Passan, and that would make sense. If the frustration is where you are in the rebuild, do you trade something that still isn't a known for more of a known to try to speed up are we better next year with Jackson Holliday or Byron Buxton? I don't know, because you're still hoping that Jackson Holliday becomes Jackson Holliday. But if it's this version of Jackson, the full picture of Jackson Holliday, not the last 2 weeks of Jackson Holliday.
Last 2 weeks might be the greatest baseball player.
I hear you. If it's the full picture, then yeah, you're probably better with Byron Buxton. Again, there is no credible report linking the Orioles to Byron Buxton. And again, the only report we have is that Twins aren't interested in moving Byron Buxton. This is just me trying to work through the Jackson Holliday of it all. But it does, I'm telling you, it makes things way more interesting. And for everyone that keeps getting mad at us for how we're covering the deadline, as I said yesterday, the Venn diagram of people that are furious with the Orioles, but you can't trade anyone. Like, there's no right or left. Every Orioles fan is somehow in the center of this. I hate the Orioles. They stink.
Do something.
But you can't trade anybody.
Right.
Like, it's fascinating, the feelings that Orioles fans seem to have about this team right now. Somebody tried to say to me, well, it's because our problem is Mike Elias. It's not the players. I'm like, what? And I'm not trying to defend Mike Elias because I think Mike Elias does, but like, is the current state of Kobe Mayo and Colton Cowser Mike Elias' fault? Because we tried to blame the manager, and then the manager changed.
Well, they are better than they were last
year.
Did
he just pick the wrong guys? Is that what it is? Because if he picked the wrong guys, then I don't know why it is that you'd be offended by the idea of trading guys away.
Yeah.
I'm just confused by the thought process. I get it. Like, I don't have, and it's part of the deeper part of the conversation. There's so many layers to this conversation, because then you get past the next one, and the next layer of the conversation is, if you are making these types of trades, what's your level of faith in Mike Elias and this front office to make those bigger trades? I mean, he did once trade for Kyle Bradish. Like, he did do that. The Trevor Rogers trade looked bad for a minute, but obviously in the end worked out pretty well. The Corbin Burns trade was good for a year, and certainly what they traded away has not really come back to bite them at all. There's probably more good. I mean, the Flaherty one did not work, obviously. That was a miss. Yeah. But there's a handful of good trades in there. I mean, the Taylor Ward one, I guess you would say is a win because Grayson's been awful. But, like, it's a low win. It's like a 1 is greater than 0, so it's a win. And there's still a lot of time left for Grayson Rodriguez to, who knows. I'm not confident. I think they probably did get that one right. Probably. I don't know. Let's talk about it more with Gabe Lacques when we come back in. covers baseball for USA Today. He will join us next. Today's show is brought to you by countysports.zone. That's where you get all your information about high school sports. They're getting you ready for the fall and the start of high school football season, which is just about, actually at this point, less than 1 month away from the start of high school football. Yeah. Countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, and you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
The stars are shining brighter at Live Casino this summer. Celebrate America's 250th with $1 million. Earn entries daily July 1st through August 29th and snap a pic with our game board for a chance to win $100 in free play every week. We'll draw 50 free play winners each Saturday and $1 million winner on August 29th. Light it up at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave LaMonaco profiles Orioles play-by-play voice Kevin Brown, looking at his rise as an amiable mainstay and one of the top voices in all of baseball. Also inside, Antonio Barbera looks at whether the championship window is narrowing for the Ravens veteran core, and our special travel section with a look at sports tourism options throughout Maryland for you and your family to enjoy this summer. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Is John from Little Rock really going in on the Ravens doing the PA announcer video? That was fun. I mean, Lamar didn't think it was. Lamar walked right past it.
Didn't he come back? I thought at the end.
Oh,
of
did he?
I
didn't.
Like, that was
maybe
nice.
I didn't stay to the end of it. Poor guy didn't even get to Louisville before Lamar was already in the building. Now, respect, Lamar is just there to do work. By the way, real quick, did you see the clip that I shared last night that people are asking about from he did the Ravens internal podcast? Go to my Twitter account because I did retweet it last night. Because everybody's like, what is the context that I'm missing here? Lamar did the Ravens internal podcast this week, and I don't know what the context is, but I do remember one viral clip that was being passed around related to the New York Knicks, and so I'm just wondering if that's what he's saying here.
Someone was talking about the New York Knicks winning the championship, and what the coach told them is like, I feel like that's real. Like we should honor that too.
Mm-hmm.
We all professionals, so we should try it too. Someone was talking about the.
Now, no one knows what the context is, and I did try to I poke around other parts of that, and I just couldn't find that he brought up the context. But do you remember? It wasn't the coach, but everybody made a big deal about the speech that James Dolan gave the Knicks before the playoffs began about what they were capable of doing.
Yeah, he said they need to be dedicated.
Do you remember what he asked them to not do?
Not lose.
And remember what the Trojans did?
Yeah, right.
The Trojans gave up sex. Is Lamar Jackson suggesting that the Ravens should all give up sex?
I mean, listen, if they want to win
in pursuit
Super
of a
Bowl,
championship,
no unturned stone, right?
I mean, have we found out if any of the Knicks actually gave up sex? Because I'm pretty sure we found out later that the context was James Dolan was kind of just joking about that.
How would you joke about something?
Yeah, right. He said I'm not expecting you to do this, or I don't know. But is that what Lamar Jackson is saying? Is that between now and February, the Ravens should withhold from sex? It's a hell of a commitment.
I mean, if they win a Super Bowl afterwards.
I said,
yeah.
If you told me when I was 20,
this is the would you rather.
100%. I did this with Rita and Caleb on one episode, or maybe you were filling in. I don't remember. But I said I couldn't. I could not at 20, whatever.
Guarantee you a Super Bowl.
At 24, that is. Come on, man.
How about it? So Lamar's 29.
If you had told me that at 24. You'll be a peak athlete. I think we made it it was a longer period of time. It wasn't just a year. It was you had to give up sex for the entirety of your career. Nope.
Oh, I think no.
We did. We had a conversation. We did this as a scenario on Reed and Glenn, and I was like, "There's just no way."
But you're a surefire Hall of Famer. Is that?
I'm telling you, what's the point? I can't have sex.
But you're a Hall of Famer.
What is the point of any of this success?
If you retire at 35,
you didn't know 24-year-old Glenn Clark. 24-year-old.
And I assume you mean your amateur, your college career. You can.
Yeah, I would not have made this. Been I will take my chances, dog. We'll see how it goes. Not a commitment.
But a Super Bowl.
That I would not have been able to make such a commitment. Or I would have been lying.
I guess there's a reason you didn't.
I would have been yeah, guys, I'm totally in with you. With the fingers.
I guess it makes sense now that you didn't make the.
This is
NBA
the only reason. This is the only reason why
your NFL career,
100%.
Fizzled out in 8th grade.
All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier on. Let's talk some baseball. Well, we continue to prepare for Monday and trade deadline day in Major League Baseball. Joining us now, he, of course, covers Major League Baseball for USA Today with a focus right here in Baltimore and D.C. He is our friend Gabe Lacques, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Gabe, it's Glenn. Thank you for taking the time, as always. I'm going to put you directly on the spot. What in the world are the Baltimore Orioles doing going towards Monday's deadline?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's still, a little bit of fuzziness there just because the American League is such a mess. I don't think I've ever seen a deadline quite like this, where you've got teams so, stuck in this quagmire that, anything still is really possible. And, that the magnitude of it goes up a little bit every day. And it's just one game, but today is huge. You're talking about two guys who could be on the trade block in Tarik Skubal and Trevor Rogers, or, could stick around if they, if they have a good weekend. It's absolutely crazy. And it's interesting how the Orioles appear like they will catch the Philadelphia Phillies at a pretty good time this weekend. That's exactly not the team you want to face right before the deadline, you'd think, but they're scuffling right now. They can't hit. So it's a very interesting, matchup for them that probably gives them a little more hope than they typically would enjoy when facing that team. So, it's, do you look at the obvious veterans to deal? Do you wonder about the guys getting deeper into service time? There's key members of the team on the IL. That has a big impact. So, I don't know if they may try to play both sides of the fence in a sense. But in the end, probably nothing too terribly rash, just because I don't think you can remake the franchise. under the gun like this, nor do I think they, would want to devote resources to a team that simply has proven that they can't really play consistently well over a stretch of time.
So let me work kind of through what you just said, because I'm going to work to where I am in this process. But what you just said, the idea of being aggressive, I hear it constantly. Your colleague Bob Nightingale was talking to me about it yesterday and saying, well, look, as you just pointed out, the American League is mid. It's bad right now. Maybe Boston is the favorite, and we thought they were dead just a couple of weeks ago, and that's why hey, maybe you go for it. Is it justifiable to be aggressive, to try to pursue pieces and trade away prospects for a team whose best argument that they have going for them is, well, hey, everybody's bad? It's not that there's a real picture that you can look at where you actually believe that the Orioles are a contender to win the American League.
Right. No, I don't think they can make that case necessarily. At the same time, Mike Elias has learned that, chances like this don't come along every single year, and growth within a team and within a franchise isn't linear. And, a lot of people make a lot about the 2022 deadline. I don't think that was the worst thing in the world. I don't think Trey Mancini and Lopez were going to win them the World Series at that point. Nor would it necessarily have been prudent to buy at that point. So that's I understand. Orioles fans are upset because the long rebuild was just getting over with. So they're in a similar spot now, but obviously the arrow picking up a little more, the patience running even thinner. So I don't think it makes sense to cut bait in too heavy of a fashion, just because you don't totally know what will happen. I just wonder how, internally they view this team with regard to, are these guys ever going to start playing well on a consistent basis? And that's the way they lost those 2 games against Atlanta over the weekend certainly, probably sowed a little bit of doubt internally, just because, like, well, gee, these were winnable games. Little things that they didn't do created, 2 losses in 3 games. And, how many more times do you have to look at that? At the same time, things can change on a dime. So it's, I know it sounds a little wishy-washy, but it's a tricky spot to be in.
Gabe Lacques, USA Today, is with us here on GCR. Gabe, my follow-up would be, if you're not gonna be aggressive, like if you're, and I'm talking really aggressive, because the needs are almost overwhelming for this team, right? Like they obviously need an outfield bat. They don't have any currently. We can talk about Taylor Ward, who they might still be looking to trade. They need bullpen help. They probably still need another starter, given as good as the rotation has been. There's so many innings issues with the guys who have been effective in the rotation. I would think they need a starter. If they're not going to be that aggressive, why wouldn't they consider exploring? What would the benefit be of just standing pat and hoping to get maybe like the 3rd wild card spot? I would at least listen at that point on not just Taylor Ward, but now that, he's told the Baltimore Banner that he won't sign an extension, I would listen on Trevor Rogers, who has been awesome and might be able to land you a significant haul that could help you maybe then go trade for Trevor Rogers' replacement this offseason.
No, I think that approach makes a lot of sense with the way the market is, and not only, the fact that Trevor Rogers' value is probably enhanced by the fact that the market is terrible, but also that there aren't 2 or 3 guys the Orioles could get in this market to make that much of a difference. So it's, you don't want to necessarily overpay for Isaac Collins, Freddie Peralta, at his worst possible stage in his career, unless you think, you can fix that guy for sure. So it's, it's a double-edged sword there, where, you can get more selling a guy, and you'd have to pay more to get what may end up only being potentially marginal improvements to a big league club. So it is possible to sell and continue to try to win, even, as half-baked as that sounds. The question is, at some point, you have to not be obsessed with winning the trade, so to speak, and dreaming controllable years and all that kind of stuff. At some point you gotta focus on, on the major league club. At the same time, if you can get a prospect far better than what Trevor Rogers might typically touch after, a good couple of months, maybe you entertain that. So, yeah, it's going to be fascinating. And, these next 4 games are certainly going to color what happens. The question is, has Mike Elias seen enough with this group, which would be a little self-damning in a sense. So it's a curious spot to be in, not necessarily an enviable one.
And I think that's sort of like the unspoken, well, not obviously not here unspoken, but like I think that's the subtext to this, that it's really hard to read, Gabe, is how much, like, I don't think that Mike Elias, personally, I don't think he's going to choose to try to trade Trevor Rogers. I think he's going to try to add a couple of pieces. And I do think that whether that has to do with him being on the proverbial hot seat or not, I don't know. I think it's almost what you alluded to in 2022. You could defend what they did in 2022 because they were on their way. They're supposed to have been there by now at this point. And I think that part of this weighs over the franchise and should weigh over Mike Elias and might factor his decisions. And I've had others suggest that perhaps they'd almost be like reckless or make decisions that can't be justified by their record because there's like a real panic about how are we still in this spot. This has been 2 full calendar years now of bad of somewhere between mid to bad baseball from this franchise.
Right, absolutely. And it's is this what they are ultimately? I think there's still more in there, but you wonder the extent of what truly constitutes the core and how much more ceiling do those guys have. That's a very tough question to pose and an even tougher question to answer. So certainly be interesting to see their internal deliberation play out, over the next 5 days.
To the point, look, I know this. I'm asking you to speculate about what someone else reported, and that's unfair, but I'm just going to use it to position this conversation. We talked earlier today about the comments from Jeff Passan of ESPN yesterday, who said, look, depending on how this week goes, like he says they've been talking to teams about Jackson Holliday, which seems insane to me, unless for some reason Jackson Holliday just wants out, and we don't know that publicly, because there's no world where that makes sense. But he's suggesting that perhaps there's a real frustration about where they find themselves at this end of the rebuild. Is it plausible that at some point they just say this isn't working and they do rip this a bit more open than perhaps we expected they would?
I mean, it's possible, but that would be pretty extreme. And it's almost like, they I think the biggest missed opportunity was not making a run at Garrett Crochet. I know the guy's injured right now, but that was a point in time where they should have maybe dug a little deeper in their internal, I guess, assessments of what they have and make a big swipe. But gosh, if you were to actually do what what the rumblings say, I mean, then where does that leave you? With a decent farm system with some veterans? I mean, it's a little bit odd.
I don't know. That's the difficult part, right? But here's the really difficult part, Gabe. Looking at where they are right now, I still don't know what their path to being legitimate competitors again involves their players being dramatically better than they've been. And I just don't know that you can keep hoping or counting on that at this point. Like, at this point, how do we, I say we, it's the royal we, how do they make any plans around Colton Cowser moving forward, who we all know defensively is outstanding, but they've had 2 years and he's just not proven that he's worthy of being an everyday hitter at a Major League Baseball level.
It's that's one guy for certain that you have to sort of debate what he is and what he will be. But we'll see what happens over the weekend for sure. I got to scoot right now, but I always appreciate. That's okay. I always appreciate your time, Glenn, and we'll re-up either before or after the deadline.
At Gabe Lacques, give him a follow there. Always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Gabe Lacques spending some time with us. He's covering a baseball game today, so he's got a lot going on. Appreciate him spending a couple of minutes with us. As I keep saying, this is a very layered conversation. Jeff Passan, the quote that we had earlier, suggested that like the results of this week could still impact like the decisions that were made. That said, the first result we saw was a 14-0 loss. I don't know that it's going to go so significantly one way or the other that it's going to be obvious which way the Orioles are ultimately going to go. Like, my gut would tell me that there's 5 games left between now. They'll probably go 2-3 or 3-2. And I don't know that either of those would be enough for the Orioles to say, all right, if they go 2-3, they're probably still about 3 games out of a playoff spot, somewhere in that neighborhood, because everybody's just mired right there. So my gut would tell me that if that's what happens, they would say, well, it's close enough. We can't trade away Trevor Rogers, and not significant enough at this point. I don't know that there's, even if they went 5-0, I don't know if that would be enough for them to say, well, we better, proverbially go all in. We better be as aggressive as we possibly can to try to add pieces before Monday. That's what my gut tells me. But I don't know that. I don't know that. It remains we will see how this plays out over the course of, obviously the next 5 or 6 days. And all we can do is continue to speculate and opine. And my opinion continues to be that I don't think they can really go all in or justify going all in. If they can't, I think they need to think about considering particularly trading Trevor Rogers if there's an incredible offer to be had. But as I talked about earlier, if there's other, more fascinating moves to be made, and I keep thinking through this like idea of like Jackson Holiday for Byron Buxton, I'm listening. I guess my bigger take priority is I would not be making decisions based around specifically the remainder of the 2026 season. If the decisions that I make can also help in 2026, that's good. But my priorities would continue to be moving forward 2027 and beyond. All right. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this conversation. You may remember last week we had Baltimore's own Sheldon Candace in studio with us talking about a new film on Disney Plus and Hulu called They Fight, which was shot right here in Baltimore and feels very much like a Baltimore story, even though it's set in D.C. It feels so uniquely Baltimore, and, Calvin Ford and the Upton Boxing Gym were a big part of making this really beautiful sports film. Joining us now, this man, frankly, needs no introduction. He's one of the most gifted actors of our generation, a true artist, and he played Slim in They Fight. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome Wendell Pierce to Glenn Clark Radio. Wendell, it's Glenn here in Baltimore. Truly an honor to spend some time with you. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you, Glenn.
Wendell, I want to talk about They Fight. We're going to talk about They Fight. I've had a selfish question that I've wanted to ask you for a long time.
Okay.
All right. Can I get it? I need to know, have you ever actually played lacrosse? Were you ever actually concerned that they were going to maybe write in a scene where Bunk had to play lacrosse and that you needed to go at least pick up a stick and throw a ball around and be prepared for it?
I have twisted a stick. I have thrown the ball. I've never played a game, but I've walked around like the kids do as they're practicing their skills,
cradling,
keep it in the basket, or whatever they call it. Me calling it a basket right there tells you how little I know
A
about
cross is the cross.
Right. So, but yeah, man. I was hoping they would. I would hope they would put me in a situation where you got to see the bunk run with the stick.
God, I would have loved that. I would have loved that so much.
I actually did, but here's a little trivia for you. Back in the 70s, very famously, Morgan State actually had a lacrosse team.
The 10 Bears.
And now that program is gone. There's a documentary about it, and I did the voiceover for that documentary.
I actually remember this. I remember this well, and it was a beautiful documentary, obviously, about Dr. Harrison and that group. And it's a special story for anyone that hasn't watched it. I would really encourage you to go do that. Wendell, I was so overjoyed when I sat down to watch this film. And we were talking with Sheldon last week, and obviously the story being that this actually originally wasn't going to be your role. It was going to be Isaiah's role. But
yes,
when you found out that this was a project that was possible and knowing it was going to bring you back to Baltimore, and can you just kind of take me through what your thoughts were and what made you want to be a part of They Fight?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to Isaiah Whitlock Jr., who played Senator Clay Davis on The Wire with me. He originally had the role and took ill, actually took deathly ill because he just a few weeks later passed away. And so I would like to honor him, and my performance is an honor to him. It was an opportunity to play the role, and it was a great script. And, when you see good material and see something that is so beautifully written and just touching in a way that it gave humanity to the kids and to people's lives, that speaks to the best of our humanity. And that was the thing that attracted me to the script.
I felt like your role, and I mean this genuinely, and I feel this way about you as a performer, it had a James Earl Jones type of presence to it. The command that you had as Slim and as this figure that so many people in our city have known. This figure we needed in our lives when we were going through something. How much joy did you have becoming Slim and sort of encapsulating everything about a mentor, a coach that every young person needs in their lives?
I was thinking of one man in particular, and that was the coach that I had when I was playing Little League football, Little League baseball. I actually threw the shot put at one time, and that was Coach Mack. I grew up in New Orleans. And Coach Mack was, he was like a second father. He was a man who lived by example and showed you that, and from the very beginning, always explained sports as being something that was going to benefit your life. It was an opportunity for you to learn life skills. It's not about winning that one game. It's about exercising your right of self-determination. He would call timeouts in the middle of the game and he says, what kind of person do you want to be? Are you going to do something about your situation right now? Because what you do right now will reflect on how you deal with adversity in your life. How do you want to deal with adversity in your life? I could care less if we get the first down, if we get the run that we need or whatever. What kind of person do you want to be right now? Look around you. Look at your friends. Look at your family. What kind of person do you want to be for them? What kind of person do you want to be for yourself in the middle of games? And so he was someone that was my true north when I was thinking about developing Slim, because those are the people that are going to have a lasting memory in your sinew, man, in the pit of your soul, and remind you at all different stages of your life what is important and how to build character and how to exercise your right of self-determination. For me, that was Coach Mack.
I feel, by the way, we had a Coach Mack who was a boxing coach here in Baltimore as well. So it's so unique that it's Coach Mack. But what you allude to, I think, is so important because, like, the Walt character, it needs some nurturing, but doesn't need an enabler, obviously. Doesn't need someone who's just going to allow him to coast by. He needs someone to kick his ass and say, you got to clean up the gym. Like, you got to work. And that subtlety of what you're talking about is, yes, this person clearly loves this person and wants what's best for them, but what's best for them is also kicking their ass a little bit. Is such an important part of why, to me, this works so well, this dynamic between the two of you.
Because that's what Slim had to go through, right? We don't see it all in the story, but there's a backstory to Slim. He's made those mistakes. Never by the grace of God go I. So when I'm speaking to Walt, I'm speaking to myself. Those are the things that I had to learn. And I'm not going to tolerate anyone else backsliding on that. You know, we know when we need to step up in life. We know the times when we bet on ourselves and those. It's easy to walk away from something. It's hard and difficult to actually do the things necessary to change the paradigm of your life. People know what needs to be done. They choose not to deal with the difficulty that that challenge presents. And that's what Slim is always telling Walt. You know exactly what's happening. You know why you're in that position. You know what you contributed. And the only thing that can change the paradigm is what your contribution is going to be to this dysfunctional paradigm. Are you going to change it, or are you going to sit back and do nothing? And so that's what is considered tough love. That's the colloquial way of putting it. But it's really about knowing what is possible and knowing that you are the master of your own destiny.
Wendell Pierce is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Wendell, obviously the Baltimore part of it, right? Like, you've spent so much time in this city in your life. Obviously, we know you're a New Orleans man. Like, we know that is in your heart. But you referenced Isaiah. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Isaiah over the years before he passed. I got to know Michael Kay really well before he passed. Clearly, Ed has been a friend for a long time, and I've hosted shows with him. And the way that those guys would talk about Baltimore, even Idris, who I bumped into in Paris randomly once, the affinity that everyone had for our city really stuck with me. What did it mean to you to be back here, given all of the time that you have spent here in your life?
I love Baltimore. I consider Baltimore a second home. I always look for an opportunity to stop and spend time in Baltimore. It was such a wonderful time when we were doing The Wire. It was a coming of age, and we didn't even realize it at the time. You know, when we were filming there, we started and we would film and then go away. We weren't on at the same time as we were filming at the beginning, when we didn't even know the impact that we were having or whatever. But all I know was we were looking forward to getting together again in Baltimore. We had so much fun. There was so much joy, even with all the issues that Baltimore has, just like New Orleans. I think it's a sister city.
I agree.
You know, a port city. We have issues with the way you guys deal with your crabs and how you cook them. We like to boil ours, and you like to steam your shells. Mm-hmm. As I say, I tell people we don't eat the shells, but that's okay. Right?
Wait a second. Hang on. I've always wanted to know. Yes. Did you actually eat the mustard?
Oh, absolutely,
no,
man.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
Absolutely. I cannot believe that people don't eat the mustard.
No.
I could actually just eat the mustard. No. I literally, man, I did a play in D.C. recently. I just did Othello for the summer, and we had crabs, man, and I was teaching people how to eat crabs for the first time, and I was collecting the mustard. I usually take a little shell and collect the mustard. and eat it. It is a great delicacy, just like bone marrow. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, it has bothered me for years. It has greatly bothered me.
But Baltimore is a great city. It's a second home. It really teaches you. It has a great humanity, and it has a great culture. And culture is the intersection with life and how people deal with it. That literal intersection is culture, and Baltimore has a great culture of perseverance and redemption. And that's what is captured in They Fight in this movie. It's about that same culture that is so prevalent in Baltimore. And that sports teaches you that we tried to teach the kids in this movie, and hopefully it gets across to others, which is there's a redemption in your humanity, and there's a resolution in redeeming yourself, and there is a resilience when you embrace your humanity. And that's what you fight for, and that is worth fighting for, and that's what They Fight is all about.
Well, I know I'm going to let you go because you're a very busy man. I did want to ask specifically about, because Sheldon said, I felt like I was creating a film that almost existed within the Wire universe. That, given Cuddy's story and how unique that is, given you and obviously a cameo from Andre in there, and it being, did you feel any of that? Were you worried about any of that when you were looking at the script?
No, that's a resonance that was there. I mean, most of the crew, it was like a family reunion. Most of the crew on this film, a great film industry in Baltimore. And it was like a reunion for us, and it was a reflection and a resonance of what The Wire was about. And so it was a part of that continuum, and being in Baltimore, it was just a reflection of the hardcore nature of Baltimore, the resilience of Baltimore. And although it's a different story, the more specific you are, the more universal it becomes. And it became universally a Baltimore story because we were specifically teaching these kids about boxing. But it was a reflection of how we learned about the humanity of kids and people that we didn't expect to learn about their humanity when we saw The Wire. So in that sense, it was a part of that universe.
And obviously the kids in They Fight were so good. I know you're getting ready for another season of Elsbeth and Raising Kanan. I have to know, did you get a chance to interact with Lamar at all when he did Raising Kanan? Did you get an opportunity to at least, I know you weren't in the scene together, but did you have?
I wasn't in the scene.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. When I heard that Lamar was coming on the show, I was so excited. I actually missed the day. I was working on something else on Elsbeth at the time, and I missed the day that he was shooting. But Lamar was great. He's one of my favorite players. And actually, the real Bunk worked security for the Ravens. So, I have an affinity for the team. The only time we don't get along is when my Saints play.
I understand, and I respect that. Wendell, I know
all other times, I'm always rooting for the Ravens.
We love that. Wendell Pierce, I can't tell you what an honor it is to spend time with you. You are such a brilliant artist. We are so grateful. This film is beautiful. For those that haven't seen it, you need to watch They Fight. Thank you for taking the time for us today in your busy schedule. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendell. Wendell Pierce. What a thrill that is. And we keep telling you, if you've not watched They Fight, you need to watch it. It's a wonderful. I was not prepared for how much this film was going to move me. Like, it really moved me. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful story, and it's a great sports story. It works in like the legacy of great sports films. I really loved the time that I spent with this movie. I really did. And yes, all of the other stuff is a big part of that. All of the connections and
yeah, because I mean it's so much more enhanced after talking to Sheldon for an hour.
Yes,
and
all
talking
of
to Wendell for 5 minutes.
I literally I got goosebumps talking about it. You get a gold star.
I mean, there's like 1 million things.
This is the
talk
problem.
to him about.
This is the problem. And I wish I would have known we didn't have as much time. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad at you. We got to talk to Wendell Pierce. You're fine. Don't get sensitive about it, because I'm not blaming you. I prepared 100 things that I wanted to get into. 100 things. I am glad that I got to ask about the crab. I didn't believe that he actually. You remember the scene, right? Like with him, McNulty eating crabs.
Yeah, he's like all sloppy.
And like
he
legitimately like asks you don't actually.
I mean,
this is one of those.
I don't want to completely dry.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not. Well, no, but like if you first of all, your crabs.
And also, there's different kinds of mustard. There's different shades of mustard as well. And
I don't disagree. Well, I mean, if you get the gunky,
yeah,
looking,
sure.
like,
I mean,
my God,
you get a bad crab.
Yeah, yeah, they're really wet and like that. Just stay away from that. But the scene where they're eating crabs and he like McNulty finishes his, and he's like, I don't remember what he says exactly. It was something like, "Let me have those crab guts" or something like. What is no. And I know this is the problem, because someone would say, Well, that's not a really, but everyone knows someone in their life who's like that. My uncle was like that. My uncle would legitimately eat parts of a crab that I'd be like, bro, what is wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? So it's not un-Baltimore for Bunk to have been eating crabs like that, but I've always wondered if he actually did, or if it's just, a TV thing. The fact that he does blows my mind. That was great for me. I needed to know that. Yeah, I wondered if you know what I would have. It probably would have been. Oh, you got it. You want to?
I think I do.
I don't know if HBO is gonna.
Oh, really?
I have no idea.
All right.
I don't know if you heard that they're gonna start putting their shows on TikTok now. That's a big story
HBO?
this week because they're recognizing that other people are sharing clips on TikTok, and they're like, maybe we should share clips.
We should just share our own clips.
I would try to keep it at 30 seconds. I'd try to find the right 30 seconds and keep it at 29.9 seconds of Bunk eating crabs. Is it? Yeah, he's right there. Oh yeah, it's right about here, right? I think it's right about here. Hang on.
You ready?
All right, we got be careful on this. Yeah.
You just fuck Cole with a stone whodunit. That's collateral damage. Yeah. You gonna waste that crab gut? You're a pussy besides, you hear me?
No.
Yeah, you're right. That was much more.
So bad. I did wonder if I'd asked him, hey, what's the plural of pussy? If he could have gotten it's no. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. He actually did that. What an artist. What a genius this man is.
What are they drinking? A G? What is that?
It looks like a
DG.
It looks like a malt beverage.
Oh, okay. MGD.
Yeah, I believe that's a malt beverage. Which actually, I know a lot of people that do enjoy malt beverages with crabs. Not, I say a lot of people. I do know people that enjoy malt beverages with crabs. Yeah, I did want to see.
I'm just watching the scene.
This is the problem. When I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to him about, it's actually good that I had an event last night. I was out at Muse, and because I would have ended up just like going through and watching
all of The Wire.
100%. It's exactly what I would have done. So it's better that I didn't have the ability to do that, and I just had to like recall from memory what I wanted to bring up. I always wondered if
that was definitely what happened when I got in here. I realized I didn't look into enough. I was like, oh yeah, we were talking to Wendell Pierce, and then then it's 11 o'clock already.
100%. This is the problem. We could have done 3 hours.
Yeah,
we could have done 3 hours just talking to Wendell Pierce. The affinity that I have for that man. He might need to get a restraining order. Like the affinity that I have for Wendell Pierce. This probably won't resonate with you the same way. But growing up, everyone my age was obsessed with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? Like,
he was in Fresh?
No.
Okay,
just hear me out.
All right.
Right? Like, we were all obsessed, and while Will Smith obviously was the star of Fresh Prince, the heart of Fresh Prince was the Uncle Phil character, which is James Avery, and James Avery commanded the screen every time you saw him. Like there was something about his presence, and it's interesting to go from Bunk, right? Like, who was obviously all over the place. Dude, I think about some of the scenes of Bunk and like Omar and like him, like getting in Omar's face, right? Like, but it's a different type of character.
Well, and that sitting on the bench.
Yeah, of course, right? Like Bunk was out there, man. But to go from that to the Slim character who is just Uncle Phil, like that, this is the presence that you need in your life. It is kind of a wild progression for me. God, Wendell Pierce is a genius, man. Like, what a genius that guy is. We're not going to do anything better than that. We should probably just go. Like, can we be honest?
Just end the show.
It's just downhill from here. Like, let's just wrap, right? Like,
just end the show.
Just end it right now. Like, it's not getting better than talking to Wendell Pierce about eating crabs.
I have a bunch of stats about how bad the Orioles were last night.
Oh, great. We can do that. That's what you... stick around. We went from Wendell
First time,
Pierce to...
yeah, to Orioles baseball.
That was cool. That was cool. All right. All right. Yeah, we do need to get a tidbit. We'll get tubular. Griffin, we can't stay on until 3 o'clock today because the Orioles are playing a game, so we don't have that option this afternoon. But
we could just live, just play-by-play here.
Remember when we had Wendell Pierce on?
Wish we could go back to that.
I have a lot of like when I'm having a bad day. I was telling I think I brought it up that I went to see Mavis Staples recently, and I have like when I'm in a down moment things that I go to. And one of in my down moments, there's a video of Mavis Staples singing "I'll Take You There" at the White House, not scheduled. She was there because I think she was getting her Kennedy Center honor, and they had the Marine Band in the White House, and they just started, because she was walking into the room, they started playing "I'll Take You There." And here's Mavis Staples, at this point probably 83 or something like that, belting out "I'll Take You There." And it's just a video that exists on the internet, and it gives me joy. And so when there are times that you're just going through it, I'll go find this video of Mavis Staples singing "I'll Take You There." Like, I just do that. And remembering that I talked to Wendell Pierce today
is now going to be added.
Is going to be something that will
be cycled into.
Also give me joy. God, man, what a genius. What a genius. Now we need who do we still need?
Who tops Wendell
yeah,
Pierce?
It's going to be that's a difficult one, man. Like that is a really tough one. And unfortunately, like I don't think I ever got to talk to Lance. No, that's not true. I think I got to talk to Lance once. I take that back.
You said you haven't had Dominic West.
No, I've never had Dominic West.
And you haven't had Idris Elba on the show, but you've interacted. So what the hell happened?
So random. This is one of the most random stories of all time.
I didn't know that you
I've met Idris Elba once. I was in that I know of, because Ed always would tell me, like, because I would go drinking with Ed.
That's true. Ed is a good connector.
Like when I was 22, 23, I would like go. Basically, I was Ed's dependent at that point. And so, like, we would go, like, after a show, he'd be like, "We're going to go to this place." And, like, he would tell me afterwards, because I remember, like, talking to him, "Hey, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I ended up being pretty close to Michael Kay for a few years. We talked a lot." He was like, "You don't remember us going out drinking with Michael Kay?" Like, what? How would I possibly not remember that? Like, how would I can't believe that actually happened, and like, I don't believe it. So it's possible that I had other interactions with guys just because of my, like, close relationship with Ed at that point. But I was in Paris for my wife's cousin's wedding. Not actually her cousin, but like somebody that grew up with, and so they call each other cousins, family.
Gotcha.
Friend. I didn't even want to go because I was like, I don't know how to spend money like that. And then she said, "Well, what if we took 2 days and went to Wimbledon?" And I said, "Well."
Okay, this was that trip.
Yeah,
Got it.
I'm going to Paris. So there was a day where she had to go to like the bridal tea, or I don't know, whatever, something related to and I was just out and about in Paris. And my plan was go to Jim Morrison's grave, go at least see Roland Garros, at least see the ground. Like, French Open wasn't going on, but I just wanted to see the grounds of Roland Garros. Who knows? Maybe you can just wander out to Philippe Chatrier. You cannot. But like, that was my attempt. And I don't remember exactly where I was, but I all of a sudden see these two girls approach a gentleman on a street corner, and they're kind of freaking out. And I'm like looking over, and I'm like, and I'm by myself. Who is that? And all of a sudden it hits me. I'm like, that's String! Now remember, this is 2012, 2000.
Okay.
He's not mega famous. He's famous.
I mean, he was on The Office at this point, right?
But,
yeah. So.
But not was he already on The Office by that?
Yeah, because The
I
Office
guess
went
he
off the
was.
air.
Yeah, you're right. Jesus,
yeah.
Really was, man. Like, but he's not super movie star, like, top 1%.
Yeah, he wasn't doing Zootopia yet.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's the one that everybody always talks about when they talk about how famous Idris is. He hadn't like hosted SNL at this point. Like he's famous, but he's not like, would shut down a city because he's there type of famous. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. So I go.
Actually, no, yeah, he did Heimdall in Thor, so like that was pretty big.
That was big, but it was.
I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't Thor, but yeah,
correct. It was big, but it was still enough. Like, I'm telling you, he did not get recognized by as many people as you would think, right? And obviously I'm going to go over and say hello to Idris Elba. I'm definitely going to do that. And so I go over, and I have told this. I think I've told the story on this show. I think I told it elsewhere. This was back in I got to remember if it was 12 or 11. It was before Margaret and I were engaged, and we got engaged 12, so it probably was the summer of 12. But back then, you didn't take your phone with you internationally. They would give you a burner phone. You would go to like the Verizon store, and you'd say, I'm going to wherever, and they give you a burner phone to take with you, and it was like a antique 1997 flip phone. I mean, it was embarrassing what they would give you to take with you to Paris. So my wife and I, or my then girlfriend and I, decided we didn't need to take both because we didn't want to pay for international on 2 different phones. We decided we were only going to take one, right? So we decided she would take her phone, and anyone that needed me could get in touch with me on her phone. I also knew that we had Wi-Fi at the hotel, so like I could check emails and stuff like that. But that phone didn't have a camera.
God, this is like the 17th century.
Right? That phone didn't have a camera, so we decided we needed to have a flip cam. Remember, I don't know, flip cams were big for like 5 years, and then everybody's cell phone had a camera. I
think if someone walked in with a flip cam right now, I don't know if I.
You would have been young. I mean, this was probably like the mid-aughts when flip cams were a thing. It basically was like a straight up and down camera that had a USB port on the side.
This looks kind of cool.
So you could quickly plug it in to download your. Drew and I got them banned by the Orioles because we were using flip cams to film interviews, and they were like, you can't use players. This is before everybody had obviously by the time everybody had a cell phone on their or phone on their camera, a camera on their phone, that wasn't going to be an option. But this was before that.
So you guys were
I would just hold the flip cam like to do an interview, and they would be like, well, the problem is not everybody knows what that is and that it's a camera, and because at the time the only people that had cameras were like the TV people that it was obvious that they had cameras. So we got abandoned, and like a year later they were like, oh, by the way, everybody has to. We get it. Everybody's got a phone. Like, that's the way it's going to go. The point of this is I, like an idiot, had the flip cam, took about 1 million pictures of Jim Morrison's grave and random pictures of like the outside of a tennis stadium. The USB was full.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have a phone.
Are you able to go in and delete stuff or no?
I'm trying to.
Oh, okay.
So I get over, I say hello, and then I'm like, this is before selfies, so I didn't even know what I was going to do here. I was just going to ask a stranger to take a picture of the two of us. Like, that's fine. Like, I had no problem doing that.
And you have good French, so you would have.
Oh, yeah, fluent, obviously. Well, and I didn't know if he was going to be like.
Oh, yeah, get the F away from me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. I'd never, to my knowledge, never met Idris before. So,
so he goes, Glenn!
Yeah. Don't you remember we were out drinking? Yeah. So I go over, I introduce myself, I say, hey, I'm from Baltimore. And then like the smile on his face, like was it was wonderful. We start talking, he's telling me stories, I'm talking about Ed. He's like, oh, I love it. Like we're doing the whole thing, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is magical. Like, I can't believe I'm in Paris and here's Stringer Bell. Like, this is crazy, right? And so finally, after we talk for a minute or so, I'm like, hey man, I know you're probably busy. He's like, yeah, I gotta go. And I'm like, can I just get a picture with you real quick, right? And I go and I got the flip cam. I stop someone. And look, most places they like know enough English that hey man, photo. He's like, yeah, of course, no problem. And so I hand them the camera, but now they go to take a picture and they can't because the thing's full, right? And I'm like, but they can't convey that to me because language barrier. They can't explain why it's not. Like, they just keep trying, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, there's this, And now it's dragging on. And, hey, man, I got to go. And I'm finally realizing what the problem is, and I just need to, and I'm trying to be like, Never got a picture with Stringer Bell. Never got a picture with him. So all I have is the story. That's all I've got is just the story.
Your word against...
my wife and I talked, the same trip where we met Serena, and didn't, like, my wife and I have memories, wonderful memories and emotions, and my wife talks about it constantly. We have no proof. Nothing. Zero. Someone somewhere had a picture on their phone of my wife and I with Serena Williams. Someone. I always thought for years, I remember coming back and asking Bryant McKinney, like, hey, dude, this is really random. Would you, And as I, like, stopped myself as I realized the ask that I'm like, I wanted Bryant McKinney to text Serena Williams and ask Serena Williams to track down the person in her group that might have taken the picture with us at the French Open. There's no effing way. There's just no way.
It could have been really easy. I don't know.
I've thought about that over the years when I've talked
Ask
to
him
Brian.
now, maybe.
Yeah, right? Like, dude, I know this was 15 years ago. But, like, you think maybe...
It was only 14.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's a great point. Only 14 years, not a full decade and a half. I legitimately, because I remember him texting me, like, how'd it go? And I'm like, bro, I love you. I'll love you forever. Thank you. We got to meet Serena. And I went to start, like, and I know this guy's going to send me then I'm like, how's that guy going to send me the picture? How did I think this was a good idea? How did I not demand the flip cam? Bitch. Dumbass. What a dumbass. We didn't make those.
It would make sense, though, that guy probably still has it saved. Just he's
100%.
random people.
He's been waiting for 14 years. I've been trying to send this picture to this guy.
I'm supposed to send this to somebody.
Right? It just never came.
I think my dad has a story like where he apparently he ran to like Muhammad Ali at a liquor store.
No.
Yeah, got him. This was like long, obviously, like before phones and everything. So he got him like sign like a piece of paper.
Wow.
Had it in his wallet. He was living in Fells Point. His car got broken into. His wallet got stolen.
I got to meet Ali, but it was at the end of his life where he wasn't talking. He wasn't like, you know, I got to shake. I mean, he lived in Phoenix when I was there, and he was like a constant. It was really wild. Like, you could do a charity golf tournament and just get Muhammad Ali to be there. Like, it was a wild, like one of the most famous human beings that's ever lived.
Right.
And was basically accessible, with the caveat being, you know, he was at a stage where he just couldn't, like, he couldn't make a speech. He couldn't, but I definitely have a picture with Ali somewhere. Like, because I actually was at multiple different events that he was at when I was living in Phoenix. It was wild. I mean, it really was wild how, like, you would just go somewhere and you'd be like, holy crap, that's Muhammad Ali. Like, he's just here. Like, at this otherwise nondescript, like, I always talk about that. Like, we would do a charity golf tournament in Phoenix, and you'd be like, and it wouldn't be, with all due respect, Mark Belanger and Bill Ripken playing in the charity golf tournament.
Be a pretty cool tournament, though.
No disrespect. Said that a lot today. It would be like, and here's Randy Johnson, and here's Donovan McNabb, and here's Larry Fitzgerald, and here's, like, it would just be Muhammad Ali, who wouldn't be playing golf, obviously. He would not be doing that, but he would be there. It would be legitimate. It's why it was
cultural icons, like,
dude. When I tell you that the first time somebody asked me to play in their charity golf tournament in Phoenix, the bit was every foursome got a celebrity with the foursome. Jeez. And I was allegedly the celebrity. And when I tell you that everyone else had someone real. Like, it was me and, like, two other radio doofuses and then everyone else was, like, a legitimate Wayne Gretzky, you know, Luis Gonzalez, legitimate, like, Charles Barkley,
jeez,
Mike D'Antoni, like, legitimate, actual. Donovan McNabb always played in these events.
Your foursome was just like,
dude, when I walked up and I said, I am so sorry. And I legitimately also said to them, and I was 23 at the time, so I'm also an asshole. Like, I'm just in my prime. I'm like, if you want, I will help you. I will go walk up to other actual famous people with you while we're on the course and get pictures with all of them. And these guys were actually very cool about it. They were like, yeah, we'd like you to do that. But, like, they weren't mad. They weren't, like, screaming that I know of it, the guy that ran the event or anything like that. Like, they were very cool. But I felt so terrible. Like, you're looking around. Here's Kurt Warner with Group 3, and then Group 4 has Glenn Clark. And I joked for a long time that, like, that had to be the people that didn't donate. That had to be the people that, like, just got in because they were, like, friends with the guy that was running the charity. Like, there's no way those people actually paid the amount of money that you were supposed to pay for a foursome, and then their celebrity was Glenn Clark.
And they gotta play behind Charles Barkley.
100%. Just waiting. Waiting. God, they were always loaded fields at these events. All right. Sorry, I don't know where we just went there, but we'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular. Today's show is brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan off this week as he's recovering from being rebuilt. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. But normally, talking baseball on Mondays with Ross Grimsley and Luke Jackson. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, brought to you by Warnken Law and the Costas Inn with 2 great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium.
The stars are shining brighter at Live Casino this summer. Celebrate America's 250th with $1 million. Earn entries daily July 1st through August 29th and snap a pic with our game board for a chance to win $100 in free play every week. We'll draw 50 free play winners each Saturday and $1 million winner on August 29th. Light it up at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in a car or truck crash, you probably know this is stressful. Medical bills, the insurance company giving you the runaround, you got to get your car fixed. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnken LLC, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car or truck crash case, medical malpractice, or any other serious personal injury, we fight for maximum compensation for you and maximum ease for you. You don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Warnken LLC has been voted best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate that you need. Call us today, 443 Results, or visit us online, warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here and wind. Oh, sorry. I forgot that you wanted to do that already. 2 seconds later. Oh, we both did? Oh, that makes me feel good.
Namdi has now passed the physical and come off of the PUP list. It's still a process to get ready to play football, and that's something they're gonna work through over these next couple weeks. I think everybody has a good feeling about where he's at and where it's headed. But again, like those things, there's a timeline involved, and that could go, whatever. So super exciting to see that dude out there with his jersey on and his helmet. He looks great. He's been working really hard, and I think there's positive things to come with him.
The good news is the Ravens do not need Nnamdi Madubuike for quite some time. That's the good news here. They do not play a football game of relevance until September 13th.
Right around the corner.
So, yeah, it is in a way. You're right. But they don't need Nnamdi Madubuike until that day. So
maybe they should go out and grab Vita Vea, too, while they're at it, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, man. I don't know what Vita Vea is going to cost in a trade. What's going on in Tampa, by the way?
I don't know. They might be dead. They do have Ruben Bain.
I do have Ruben Bain, who I liked a lot.
But I guess they don't have Baker Mayfield for long, at least.
Not yet. And did I see that Tristan Wirfs is hurt too?
Oh, really?
It's not great. They got rid of Mike Evans. I mean, like I say that like they didn't have 100 wide receivers. The wide receiver wasn't their issue. I don't know what to make. And what a wild card Bucky. Remember how high we all were on Bucky Irving going into last year? And like now there's just no juice on Bucky Irving whatsoever.
They do still have Sean Tucker, right?
I don't know if that. I would assume they do, but I don't know that definitively. Yeah, aren't you supposed to be working on that right now? Aren't we supposed to be doing our regular August look around? God, it is July 20th.
Kenneth Gainwell, Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving.
So Sean Tucker won. That's the real reason why there's no juice on Bucky Irving is because everybody's assuming that Sean Tucker is going to be
this Bucks news fan account, whatever. Gainwell, Tucker, Irving is. I don't think this isn't a depth chart by any means. It's just the way they listed it.
Got it. Yeah, that's they don't need if Nnamdi Madubuike just needs to work back in for a couple weeks. All good, man. All good. The eternal question is, can Nnamdi Madubuike be Nnamdi Madubuike again? And we won't. The reality is, there's nothing. No matter what anyone says, like, and undoubtedly at some point we'll have Jonas or Jeff or whoever it is on, and we'll say, or Cordell, somebody like that, we'll say, hey, how's Nnamdi Madubuike looking? And even if they say, oh, he looks great, man, that still doesn't actually answer the question. We're not going to get an answer to that question until they play football games. That's the only way to be able to answer the question about Nnamdi Madubuike. Jeff Zrebeck, obviously, we know the tragedy that Calais Campbell is going through with his family, just unfathomable. I mean, truly unfathomable. And, I don't know how anybody could be thinking about football given the circumstances. God, there are far too many stories like this of late. But Jeff Zrebeck says that Calais Campbell reported for training camp, but he's not practicing. The Ravens are going to give him some time to get back into football, and God bless him for even attempting to continue to play football. I think that would be very difficult for me to do in these circumstances. It would be almost impossible, though. A lot of people say that you need something like that. If you're not doing what you do, then you end up just stewing over that type of situation, man. But you're really losing two people, right? Like you're losing definitively your mother's gone and you've lost your brother at the same time. Like, I mean, it's just unfathomable. So yes, Calais Campbell all the time that he would possibly need. And then the only other guys that were not practicing today are all either on the PUP list or the non-football injury list: Corey Bullock, Teddy Buchanan, Bilal Kone, John Jenkins, Adisa Isaac, and Travis Jones. So it's just, how do the next couple of weeks go, particularly for like Teddy Buchanan, who I think most of us assumed there was no way that he would be back for the start of the season. But the more guys around the game, like even Posic's not even on one of these lists.
Well, he was an Achilles, right? So and Teddy was ACL.
Yeah.
So I guess ACLs are still a thing.
I would assume I would
Those are
assume,
still real injuries.
I have worked under the assumption we are not going to see Teddy Buchanan to start the season, but
when did he get hurt? Was it December? It
was
late.
Was it December? I thought it was
late.
November for some reason.
I thought it was. Was it that game against Cincinnati in Cincinnati?
Was it that late? Wow. I don't know why I thought it was before that.
December 14th. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, it was the same day as Mahomes. So although Mahomes is practicing, so maybe
that's what
what's going on here?
I don't know, man. I all offseason assumed that Teddy Buchanan was not going to begin the year playing football. And I talked to him at the draft, and he was in good spirits, but he wasn't going to give anything away. He wasn't going to say like, I know, and part of it probably is he didn't at the time.
Jeez, apparently Teddy was LCL, ACL, and meniscus. Mahomes was just the ACL and LCL. Maybe that.
Yeah. So I assume that Trenton Simpson's or Jay Higgins maybe is going to be playing to start the year. But again, as I keep saying, you never know anymore when these guys might be coming back. You have no clue. So yeah, that's what the Ravens are dealing with as they kick off training camp today. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of PressBox. Go pick it up right now. It's available at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. It's free. Kevin Brown's on the cover. Great story about the Orioles play-by-play voice. You can also read it for free, PressBoxOnline.com.
Orioles lost last night by a score. It was the first time the Orioles had ever allowed a run in each of the first 8 innings of a game. So, historic night if you were at the ballpark to watch the Orioles for any reason up in Detroit. It was also just the second time.
Thanks for reminding me.
It's just the second time an MLB team has scored a run in every inning in which they batted and allowed no runs in every inning in which they pitched in a game. The other time was, of course,
the Bridegrooms.
September of 1935.
Oh,
when the Pirates defeated the Brooklyn Dodgers 13-0. So
that was going to be my next guess.
Yeah.
That was going to be.
I guess I should have let you guess.
Yeah. Speaking of the Pirates, my buddy Brandon, from jobbing out as a Pirates fan, he's from Pittsburgh, and so we were commiserating because my team was down 8-0 and his team was down 6-0.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And one of those teams I think came back.
They didn't win. They ended up losing
they
the
did
game.
lose?
Yeah,
Darn.
but
they forced extras.
we were commiserating, and then he said, "But my team has a good offense," and he even said like, "I don't know that we're dead yet," and I was like, "I know my team is. I know my team ain't coming back." Your team might. And indeed, they did. They rallied, forced extra innings, but lost in extra innings. Diamondbacks, I think.
8th time the Orioles have allowed 14 runs in a shutout loss. Do you believe it's happened that many times?
How is that possible?
Most recently was in Cleveland, June 14th, 2004.
Oh, you want the lineup from
also
June
lost
14-0.
And I gotta be honest, I feel like you might be able to name more of the guys from the Cleveland lineup than the Baltimore lineup.
The Cleveland teams are good at that point. All right, 2004 Orioles. Well, that would be Tejada, right?
Yes, Miguel Tejada was in the lineup,
batting third.
Yes, he was,
and playing shortstop.
Yes.
Remember the 2004 Orioles got off to
you'll be able to name them.
They got off to a really good start. That 2004 Orioles team.
It wasn't that great. They were 27-32 by this point.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. They were. Hold on. I pulled up there.
This was in June. Did they go on a stretch after that? I feel like
they were.
Am I confusing?
At one point, they were like 10-5 to start the season.
That's not what I'm thinking of. Then maybe I'm thinking of 2005. There was a year where the Orioles.
Maybe it was a 5 or 6.
Good. They were good at the
3.
break. They were like at the break. They were good.
They were 10 games under at the break in 2004.
Not this team. All right. I'll still say Palmeiro, right, was back.
Yes, he was.
4th?
Yes.
First base?
Yes.
How about...
I think it was 05. They were...
this would be Javi Lopez as well, correct?
He was. They were 46-40 at the All-Star break in 2005.
2005, okay. Lopez was batting 6th.
Not 6th.
5th.
Yes, right after Palmeiro.
How about... you said 4? I'll say Brian Roberts was up by this point. Brian Roberts.
Yes.
Second base, batting 1st.
Yes. Similar to last night, I guess they got 3 hits last night. They got 4 hits in this game. Roberts went over for 4.
Now it gets tricky.
Did draw a walk.
Gibbons.
Yes, he was.
Right field?
Nope.
DH?
DH.
6th.
Nope.
7th.
7th.
All right. So I need all the outfielders. Oh, boy. Big B.
Big B was in the lineup, yeah.
Left field?
Yes. One of the 4
8th.
hits. No.
6th.
No.
2nd.
No.
9th.
9th.
Got there eventually. God, who else would have been in the outfield for the 2004 Orioles?
This guy, he couldn't have been an Oriole long.
Yeah, I'm blanking on who the options would even be. Wait, was
Oh,
Surhoff?
he was an Oriole for a long
Was
time.
Surhoff still on that team? Was Surhoff back on that team?
Yes, he was.
Was he in the lineup?
He was.
Third base?
No.
Right field?
Right field.
6th.
Batting 6th. Went 2 for 3. Lone bright spot.
I need a third baseman and a center field. I've done way better on this than I thought I was going to do. Third baseman and a center fielder. Center fielder. Oh, Melvin Moore was the third baseman, right?
Melvin Moore was
Melvin
the third
Moore,
baseman.
and he was batting 2nd.
He was.
Center fielder. I don't even know that I can, like... I mean, this predates, like, Darnell McDonald. I mean, this is obviously after Brady. God damn.
Hi, Leo. Another 1 o'clock show.
I hate you for that.
Why are we going so long this week?
Because you're giving me this, and I can't think of... Well, you also got me on the post Wendell Pierce. I was in the glow. All right, give me
center
something.
field.
Give me something.
I mean, he was not a good baseball player.
Thank you. Great. That's helpful.
He played 6 seasons. Yeah, 6 seasons in Baltimore, 2000 to 2005.
He played six seasons in Baltimore?
7. 2006 was traded mid 2006 to Washington.
That's after Hammonds.
Or was he DFA'd maybe? I don't know. He might have been. Honestly, he might have been DFA'd. He was not a good player. He had 1 good year, 2003. He hit .303 with an 811 OPS, 13 homers, 45 RBI in 109 games. That was his only good year. The rest of the years were sub-1 WAR or negative WAR.
This is not ringing a bell, dog.
He's from Puerto Rico. He shares a name with, I believe, a good player, like a first
Matos.
Yeah,
Luis Matos.
Yeah, Luis Matos.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, this guy couldn't have been. I was thinking of the actual Luis Matos.
Yeah. Luis Matos. Yep. I don't remember why. A lot of times when Brett and Josh do games together, because Josh was here many years ago and Brett grew up here, they will end up on like tangents about 90s and early 2000s Orioles. I don't know if Josh
had a lot
was
of
here in
chances
the
to
early
do that this season.
Yeah. And I somehow recently the Luis Matos, his name came up, and I do remember like Brett trying to explain, and it's a different Luis Matos than because the other guy was a pitcher, right? No, he was with the guy with the Giants.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
The guy with he wasn't.
Not the young kid. Well, there was the young kid. Wasn't there another Luis Matos?
Was there a third Luis Matos? The guy with the Giants was an outfielder. He was an outfielder.
Yeah.
Was there a pitcher
there
Luis
another one?
Matos? I don't think so. I think I'm just making that up.
I guess I'm thinking of. Yeah, I guess we were both thinking of the Giants.
The Giants guy.
Apparently, he's back. Now he's with the Brewers.
All right. Very good. All right. Thank you.
You named
You
the
son of a
pitcher.
bitch.
Gave up 8 runs in 2 2/3. So Dean at least got through 4.
That's a good point. Ponzone.
No.
Bedard.
No. His first name was Eric.
Eric DeBose?
Eric DeBose.
Oh
started
my
this game
God.
For the Orioles.
Didn't Eric DeBose pass away?
Did he really?
Like tragically, like not that long after.
Oh, jeez.
No? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm thinking of somebody else. Eric DeBose is definitely still with us.
Okay, good.
What Orioles pitcher died?
All right, well, will you look that up? I
All
guess.
right, yeah, we can do the other thing.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Steve Beckler, who passed away in 2003 during spring training, actually. So not even close. My apologies to the Beckler family. My apologies that I killed Eric DeBose, and I'm very sorry about that. My apologies to Eric DeBose.
Disrespectful.
Jeez,
We've said a lot of. We're trying to do a lot of no disrespect.
Yeah,
that was
right?
a little disrespectful.
I'm apologies to everyone involved for getting that one wrong. That was a very Forrester moment.
The Cleveland lineup was a bunch of guys who I didn't know were like ever in Cleveland, like Coco Crisp, Victor Martinez.
I don't remember him in Cleveland
Yeah,
either.
I guess Victor Martinez. I think I remember. Casey
Yeah.
Blake.
Oh,
Lou
yeah,
Merlone.
I would not have done as well with the Cleveland lineup as you think I would have done. I would have been guessing, Manny Ramirez,
Right,
and,
yeah.
and Omar Vizquel,
It
and
was
Kenny
like-
Lofton, and the 90s Indians that were obviously gone by that
Jake
point.
Westbrook threw a complete game shutout.
He came up when we played the Jake game a couple weeks ago, and you didn't know who he
you're right.
was,
Yeah.
you son of a
Now
bitch.
I remember Jake. I do remember because I remember him with St. Louis at the end of his career. Not good.
All right, here's what's coming up tubular-wise. Obviously, the Orioles wrap up.
What?
Something is on our website.
On.
Yes, someone has hacked into our website.
Oh.
Not great. We got to figure that out. Somebody has access to our website.
Like it says something.
Go look at the
something
website
bad.
right now.
Go. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Just
I
go
don't
to,
know
like, the homepage?
what it is, but someone has gotten access to our website.
Ooh, maybe that's an opportunity.
I don't think so. I think it's a
Anytime
problem.
I see challenge.
Yeah, I think it's a problem. So we got to figure out what to do about that. But that being said, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise.
Nice.
Yeah? Yeah. I think we got to look into that. Not great. This is why, like, when they always try to get me to change my password, I'm like, I'm not changing my password, you son of a bitch. I'm never going to remember what it is. And this is what happens. Find out that we've been hacked. Orioles, Tigers, 110. Trevor Rogers, Tarik Skubal. That's on Masson. Masson will also have the Norfolk game this evening at 6:30. Is Ryan Mountcastle already not playing anymore? Did I see that? Like, has he already been?
What happened?
I swear to God, I thought I saw that, like, they have already shut him down again or something
Jeez,
like that.
really?
I got to make sure. I might be getting everything wrong. No longer starting rehab assignment. This is from
Well, that stinks.
Jake Rill on
I
Twitter.
think.
Jake Rill, Ryan Mountcastle foot is no longer starting a rehab assignment tonight with AAA Norfolk. He is now being reevaluated by the Orioles. So there's that. Anyway, they will show the Norfolk game against Worcester tonight at 6:30 as well. Of course, you'll be busy watching the MLS All-Star game this evening on Apple TV, where the MLS All-Stars take on the Liga MX All-Stars at 8 o'clock. Yeah, you throw out all the records when those teams get together. Wrexham plays Liverpool in a friendly tonight at 7:30 on ESPN.
They played Leeds last week.
did they?
That was interesting.
All
I don't think Leeds look very good.
Okay, non-sports.
But
also, did they have their guys or not? Like,
I don't
think
know. They
a lot of
definitely
people
didn't
that
have
played
all
in the
of them.
World Cup probably
Yeah.
did not.
I think Leeds did have, like 4 guys that played in the World Cup, so including Brendan Aronson. Anyway, MasterChef. We've got the season 3 finale of The Valley on Bravo. It's a big one, obviously. Who Wants to Be a Billionaire?
Okay.
Featuring
Game
Ben
starts in
Affleck.
10 minutes. Let's go.
Also, Jason Alexander and Wayne Knight are going to be on Who Wants to Be a Billionaire.
Are they doing a
Millionaire
new
channel.
season? Or are they like?
No, they're going to be on Who Wants to Be
No,
a
but
Millionaire.
I'm saying, like, are they there to plug?
They're there to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Jason Alexander, I'm fond of. I think everybody forgets that, like, Jason Alexander, like,
You don't like Wayne Knight?
was not like he very publicly said that, like, he was not friends with everybody else in the cast. But it wasn't like I hate them. It was just like I'm older than them.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not.
Was this after the Curb
going and hanging out
reunion or?
No, this was years ago. This was like when they were
or
like,
before.
Everybody always imagined these people were like close because they were friends on the show, and he was just like, yeah, no. Not the way it works.
Devil Wears Prada 2 streaming now on
Thank
Disney
God.
Plus and Hulu.
Thank
So you
God.
can check that out. The Idaho Murders on Netflix. That'll be
next
be the one.
for book
Yeah.
club. This week we did the Toxic Love Story. We got a new Rita and Glenn taping tonight, so that'll be available later on. All right, very good. Thanks today to Wendell Pierce and Wendell Pierce and Wendell Pierce and Wendell Pierce and also Gabe Lacques. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the.
Shabuzi and Sadie Sink are going to be on Jimmy Fallon.
Maybe. Free tickets, maybe.
You know,
I don't dislike Shabuzi. I'm just like, I only know the song, and it's catchy.
I like
it's
his
catchy.
music. He's got a lot of good songs, in my opinion.
So it's not like something that I would seek out, but I like Sadie Sink. Obviously, was great.
Apparently, she's in Spider-Man.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh wait, is she going to be?
What?
Does that mean she's like Gwen Stacy or something? No.
Wasn't there already a Gwen Stacy in this series?
That's why I was like, wait, maybe.
Well, maybe there
What am I
wasn't.
forgetting? I know who's. I don't want to know. I don't want to spoil it for myself.
Anyway, tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow, our buddy Kirk McEwen, who's going to be out at training camp today doing his show, he'll be joining us in studio tomorrow, talking Ravens. I want to just talk to Kirk, just get some old stories. I like, obviously, Tom Petty obsessed. I don't know, did he ever met Tom Petty? I got lots of stuff I want to talk about Kirk McEwen with. And are we going to...
We're gonna go down to the farm, yeah.
Going to the farm tomorrow as well. That's all we know. Going to the farm. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, the Costas Inn, the Baltimore area highest dairy stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warrenton Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, the Maryland Department of Health, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.